Dan, I know you stressed talking about you want to get back to playing UConn defense. How close were you that tonight in this exhibition game?
Yeah, I mean, we were missing, I think Taras when he's not fouling, just efficiency-wise is one of the best defensive centers. And Silas is our best perimeter defensive player. So, minus the fouling, the lack of discipline, losing the edge, over-pressuring drivers, not showing our hands, fouling a three-point shooter. Obviously, there was undiscipline, but I thought there was also just like a lot of making them uncomfortable and kind of flying around like we didn't last year. So, we have a long way to go there, but I think, again, I'm not disappointed. We got driven a little bit, but we're missing probably our two best defensive players, which is the center and the point guard. So I was overall pretty happy with it.
Hey, Coach. You can hear me all right. Jane Ross had a plus 26 plus minus. That's a team high. Just talk about his impact tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the roster, however we shot it today, and it's like Braylon, I thought, took one bad three. Solo might have taken one bad three. AK might have taken one bad three. And those guys, obviously they went they went 6 for 25, right, from three. So, I don't think there's a lot of teams in the country that are going to have that firepower on the perimeter, like 2 through 4. But what the team is dying for is, somebody off the bench, a big wing, that can really guard people, play with athleticism, play with length. I thought, Jay Ross had, I thought he had a much better second half. He settled in. We need him to be a guy whose minutes are, where they were tonight. I mean, we need him to be a guy that's in that 15, 17. If he's making threes, he's playing 20 minutes. The roster is screaming for those wings, Jalen and Jaden, to really emerge as guys that can lock up on defense and be productive big wings.
Dan, you talked a lot about your point guard play needing to be better this year and showing some promise. Can you talk about today's game? You were obviously down a point guard, but still 20 assists, only 6 turnovers.
Yeah. I mean, I think we got a great situation there. Obviously, Silas has got to get back from, the calf. We've had these soft tissue injuries that have been frustrating. The guys are, working hard to get back from them. We've just had some bad luck, I guess, or whatever's going on with that. I mean, I've got 15, 20 years as a head coach and never had players miss time with these types of injuries. So we've got to get these guys healthy. But, whatever the situation is when Silas is back, Malachi could play with Silas in the backcourt. Malachi's, whether he's a starter or whether he comes off the bench, based on what the direction we go, I think he's going to be a major factor, and he's going to be playing starter-like minutes. The guy just plays with a lot of energy, and I know he had 5 assists today, but we were bricks away out there. I mean, we were bricking everything. He should have had 12 assists, 14 assists. Guys were bricks away.
Dan, in the similar vein of Malachi playing well and with Silas not there, Eric seemed to handle himself pretty well out there as a freshman. Is that a comforting thing to see those two guys really play well? And then the second part, just can you? Is there any sort of like timetable on the two guys, Silas and?
Yeah, I mean, Taras missed about 2 weeks. Then he came back in and. He got back into practice for a couple days, and then really early in practice he he had the hamstring again, so, you won't probably see him for Michigan State. I would say after Michigan State, you're hopeful for the opener, or we just got to make sure that the guy is healthy, because as tough as it was, I think as uncomfortable a position as it was for Eric, this is great to just develop Eric and Dwayne's roles, because I think those guys are, obviously Taras got a chance to be an All-American level center, but I just think we got a lot at center, I thought Eric handled himself well. He didn't finish everything, but I thought he functioned well. He got himself to the right spots. He's going to grow and keep getting better. I think the guy's going to be an awesome player. Donovan Clingan is going to hate me for saying it, but Donovan's first closed scrimmage versus Virginia, I think he had played him 3 minutes of disaster basketball. DC, Kling Kong, you remember. So, I think Eric did a lot of good things out there, and he should have had 14 and 8, but I think Eric's going to be great.
Dan, you mentioned Silas and Taras being your best defenders, but how far have Solo and Alex come as defenders, for you? I mean, the first possession, I think Alex stonewalled the guy and then blocked him on the...
Yeah. I got to see the film on Solo. I don't want to start handing out fucking ribbon. I don't want to start handing out trophies to Solo. I want to go back and watch it, but I think the eye test said it was better. We have to get better there. I mean, it sunk the season last year, just our perimeter defense. So, Solo wants to be good on defense. He needs to get back to just playing more athletic down at that end of the court. But I do think that the team's got the potential with Taras and Silas in there, with the bench depth and everything that we got, to really be a team that turns people over a lot and pressures people and is more disruptive.
Dan, what can you take from your response when you got down 4 and obviously regained the lead and took off?
Yeah, I mean, it was just the end of the first half. I mean, we had foul trouble. Obviously, Eric had 2 fouls. Dwayne had 3 fouls. We hadn't really practiced a lot of small ball lineup. I don't love small ball lineup. We love our center on the court. I just think, we missed a lot of open shots. I mean, we just, opening night jitters. We should have been able to keep the game. Ended the first half shitty. Should have been able to keep the game at 18. They make a little run to start the second half. They cut it to 10. And then we start playing well again. Now it's back to 20. I mean, we ended the half bad. We started the first half, the second half bad. But I liked how it was good to have a little bit of that adversity with the group, missing some key players. I thought it was just a good experience for everybody. And it makes me more of a believer in the team, just to be able to play, a high major team, an ACC team, be missing, 2 of your best 5 players, your 2 best defensive players. Part of 2 offensively, when you're missing as many threes as we were missing, and obviously a big part of our offense is to get great threes for our big-time shooters, just not having Taras that we could throw the ball inside to when we were missing shots, that hurt tonight.
Yeah, Coach, just BC is a program that's trying to have a bounce back year. Just as an opposing coach, what did you see from them that they did well, just getting an initial look?
I mean, I love the coach. I coached against the coach at Charleston. I got a lot of respect for how he runs the program, for just the type of coach he is, how hard he gets his teams to play, how he maxes out, the resources that he's given there to put together, a team that's going to compete. Obviously, I don't want to talk up too many of their players individually, because nowadays you get accused of tampering. So I don't want to, I could talk about how well some of their individual players played, but I'm just a big fan of the coach, and he's a coach's coach.
Dan, you alluded to flying around and maybe being a little disruptive.
I think he had 27 points off turnovers. For you, is that the most encouraging takeaway from tonight? Is that the one thing you really needed to see to show that it was going to be different from last year?
Yeah, I mean, just last year, we were so easy to play against. People, teams just got catches wherever they wanted to get catches. We didn't get into the ball. We were not disruptive. You know, last year, we had no discipline and fouled a lot while being a really soft team that let their opponent catch it wherever they wanted, where at least for us now, you know, we're pressuring people, we're pressuring catches, we're making the opponent uncomfortable. Now we just have to develop the discipline to not foul. But, yeah, I mean, we want to play 9 or 10 players. You know, I see it. I see a second unit being a group that's going to come in, you know, come into the game, and you know, when we're at full strength, you know, being able to, you know, press, man, zone pressure, but always making the opponents uncomfortable. I think that's kind of my roots as a coach, and I think we got like a talented and athletic roster that can do it. So, all right, guys, thank you.